All right, welcome back to Rock Hard Caucus. We've got me, Justin. We have Natalie.
Hi.
And we have Evan.
Okay.
No, I'm bringing it back.
Don't do that. Okay. Okay, when I try, fuck you.
We are very bad at intros on this show.
I'm always going to do something you don't expect with the introduction.
I know,
Okay.
and then you're gonna make fun of me when I'm like confused.
I didn't make fun of you. I just let the silence linger.
Which is actually worse.
It's definitely worse.
All right, so we are all. Well, how are you guys feeling? I'll put it that way. How are things going for you?
I guess it's starting to feel like the new normal to be quarantined. So honestly, since this weekend, I've kind of been in a little bit better place mentally. But like physically, just fine. But yeah, it's definitely fucking scary to be alive right now.
But it's getting better for you mentally.
Yeah.
For the
well,
time
just
being.
knowing that me and my immediate family members are safe, and knowing that my income hasn't been affected, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm secure, and you know, there's definitely a level of like separation between what goes on inside your own household versus like the greater outside world. There has to be a little bit. I feel bad saying that, but you know.
Well,
You
yeah.
have a little bit of like, okay, but I'm okay. Like,
Yeah.
there's always a little bit of selfishness because you have to survive. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't get too guilty about it. Just a little bit guilty. Constantly nagging you. For being privileged.
The American white experience.
The white liberal experience.
Yeah.
Just a healthy amount of guilt, just to keep you from being truly happy.
Yeah. Also, I'm probably like uniquely suited for this because I'm a very solitary person in general, and other people tend to just stress me out more, so.
You have left your house a half a dozen times for me, so let the record reflect that I am so charming that people want to leave their house.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask, I'm pretty much there.
I don't think things have changed like a whole lot since the last time we recorded. And obviously there's really only one thing going on. But
Yeah.
It's all the same.
I felt like I wanted to record an episode because I wanted to hear other human voices.
Oh, yeah, that's like, that is one of the things that I'm trying to do. Like, every day, have an actual voice conversation with someone who isn't a housemate.
Your mom.
My mom. I said, okay, thanks, Natalie. Thanks.
A housemate.
You've said it on the
Housemate.
show before.
I know I have, but they might not have listened to that episode.
But they're jumping right in on this one.
This is number 24, I think, a good place to jump in. Well, people do have more free time now, so it makes sense that this might be some people's first. Natalie, how's your family doing?
Scout is now at home all the time. But I'm not, so haha.
Oh.
I have contact with like 1 to 3 people every day at my new job that I love, so I've kept going. But Cooper is at home with my daughter, and she just watches TV all day long. So things are going great here.
So she's happy about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. But I found out this afternoon that a couple of my friends got laid off, and that really, really sucks.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, at my old work of Hood, a bunch of people got laid off because they were already like on such a shoestring budget anyway. It's going to be so bad for nonprofits. Holy fuck. Whatever it is for regular, like they're already like, oh my God. So yeah, that really bummed me out.
Is Planned Parenthood like providing medical, like their professionals to like hospitals or anything like that? Or like is there any sort of program for that?
I don't know what the doctors are doing there. I know it kind of like depends on the state. Right now, at least in Iowa, abortions are not Like a sneaky thing they've been doing is sneaking in language in various like state by state bills about coronavirus, saying that abortions are non-essential, like meaning that you are able to delay them. Like they're saying that, you know, you shouldn't be able to do those right now because it's non-essential and we need to focus personnel on, which like the longer you wait, the more expensive it is, the more likely there is to be complications, or maybe you don't even know.
And
like,
the more the same people who say it's non-essential will complain about it.
Yes.
Right. Yep.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
the closer you get to like a cutoff date where it becomes no longer possible.
Right.
Even.
Right. That's and like, you know, the closer you get to that date, the more expensive it is, the more like it really fucking sucks. So, but luckily that isn't happening here. So they're all still working in the actual clinics. But I'll kind of like try to keep in touch with people and see what they're doing. Yeah, I don't know. Healthcare goes on and like people continue. I mean, more than ever, kind of like being at home a lot. People need access to Plan B and people need abortions and, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true for you, being home all the time?
That I need Plan B and abortions? No. I do not.
So far in my experience, that's not been too much of a concern.
Well, poor Justin.
Justin.
I can't remember last time we recorded, had the university announced that they will be online only for the rest of the semester yet?
I don't think so.
I think that was after. So I'm looking at not working until, I mean, optimistically, like June. Yeah, it's going to be weird. I just filed for unemployment a few days ago, and it's a new experience for me. It's kind of cool. Like, if it works,
yeah,
I'll just...
dude.
If it works,
money.
Yeah.
I'll just be getting a check for nothing.
Hell yeah, dude.
Have either of you ever done that? It's never really been an option for me until now.
No, every time I've been laid off, it was because I got fired or because I just stopped. Well, usually, actually, I got fired usually just because I stopped going and didn't tell anyone. so
I've done that so many times.
I've done it. Yeah, I'm.
Like when I was like 19, I had a series of jobs, like boom, 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 boom. I would just like stop going to when I decided I was bored of it.
Oh, wow. I think I've only quit a job without notice once.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a big responsible nerd now, but yeah I used to.
I was hella irresponsible until like 3 years ago.
What jobs have you called no showed for?
Let's see. I was a caterer at college, so I was like the person who worked like graduations and like big special events and stuff like that. Like we did stuff at the president's house. Stopped going to that. Stopped going to a job at a telemarketing company.
Oh, fuck that.
Well, yeah.
Ruffalo Cody. I'll drag them. I actually left. Like it was. I was actually, that was like during the summer, but I left. And like the day that I like decided not to go on my last day, it was like also the day we passed out paychecks, and I like just didn't get my paycheck, and I never went back for it.
Oh, that sucks. You got to get your last one.
Yeah, well, I never did, and apparently it never went to unclaimed property, which is kind of funny, because I thought that's how it's supposed to work, isn't it? Like,
yeah, the Great Iowa Treasure Hunt. I looked up everyone I know in that.
Yeah, I'm not on there, so I guess they stole my last week of pay, so.
Oh, dude, I'm going to look up Justin and Chuck and see if they have anything.
I think we both have done that for ourselves.
Yeah, there's 2 other ones. I worked at an insurance company. I stopped going.
Wait, that's like a real job.
Yeah, that was a real job. That was a real job that I had for like 2 years.
No way. I'm talking about like
that was under
job.
different circumstances, though.
Okay.
That was like they reorganized the entire company and completely took away all my job responsibilities, and on top of it, forced me to work like 15 hours or overtime a week.
Jesus.
So I just was like, all right, I guess you need me more than I need you.
I'm talking about like I did regular 1 month stints as a waitress.
Oh, yeah.
I am absolutely horrendous at it. I hate it so much. I was a cocktail waitress at a casino for 2 months, and you had to wear an outfit and everything. It was awful.
What do you mean by outfit?
An outfit.
An outfit.
An outfit, a bustier.
Oh,
and like
geez.
little skirt with
like
it.
a sexy outfit.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to wear, it was a black bejeweled strapless bustier. And you had to wear high heels. And this was at Riverside Casino.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been there, it's fucking carpet. So
Right, yeah.
walking in heels anyway is awful. And then walking on the carpet in high heels was absolutely horrendous. And the thing about cocktail waitressing at a casino is all the drinks are fucking free.
Right. So you don't get tips.
You don't get tips. I mean, you're ostensibly, like, it's a tipped position. Like, you get paid $2.35 because you can access tips, technically. But
Jesus.
no one tips
$2.35?
you. Yeah.
Is that still like the tipped minimum wage?
Yeah.
$2.35?
Yeah.
I thought it was like 4 or something, but I might be wrong.
Did it go up in the last couple of years?
It might have been.
Regardless, yeah. So I made $2.35 an hour to walk in high heels on carpet, and all the drinks were free. So you just had to depend on the person you were handing it to giving you a couple bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So like occasionally some like a creepy dude playing like a table game would give you like $30 or something, but it was mostly old people who came in on like fucking buses and just sat at the slot machine and took free drinks all night long. So I never went back. And I didn't return my outfit. I just didn't. I like I was like, fuck this. So I did that for 2 months. And then I also had like half a dozen assorted waitressing, cocktail waitressing, like bar jobs that I didn't show up for.
Did anyone ever tip you in like chips?
No, that's cool though.
Yeah,
No.
casino, that would be cool.
That would be cool.
Baller move
No.
right there.
Nobody had anything. Riverside is so sad.
Yeah.
And they drug tested me, which is really funny because I was like basically oozing weed out of my skin at that point. And I passed the drug test.
Wow, nice.
So I interviewed and they like took you back right then and were like, okay, we're going to do this. And it was a cheek swab. And so I just like sucked on it and didn't let it touch any part of my
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, it was just coming out of my pores. I had smoked like less than 6 hours before that. So, yeah, that was the worst job I ever had.
Riverside, birthplace of Captain Kirk. And
yeah.
home of Trekfest, which Justin and I attended one year.
Yeah, we've been there together.
Oh, that's cute.
I feel like I've been there twice. Did we only go once?
I only went once. You might have gone twice. But yeah, Allie had to write a paper, or not a paper, actual article on it for the Press Citizen.
Yeah, and I tried to look up that article recently, and it's been scrubbed from the internet. I wanted to see it because she quoted both of us in the article.
You did quote your two friends. By the way, have I talked on this show before about the article that was written about me in a college newspaper that I'm not going to name?
I don't recall.
I think you mentioned it in the group chat about the online dating thing. Oh
Yeah.
my god, that is a great story. You
I
should
must
go.
have missed that.
So I went on OkCupid. I was like 19. And it felt like a real dry spell. It had probably been like 3 weeks, but I was like, I have to like, I'm going to date online or whatever. So I went on OkCupid and met this dude who went to college near where I was living. And we went on a date. It was really horrible. And we had been talking for like 3-4 days before that. And then he ghosted me. And a week later, one of my friends sent me an article that he had written about the date. Because he was doing never been kissed shit, where he like was going on the date to like go undercover to write about the experience of online dating. And I was so fucking angry because I was like, I'm 10 times hotter than you, you fucking piece of shit. I write this article about you. Like,
what a terribly boring idea for an article also.
Yeah.
Like what?
It wasn't even a good article.
Wait, yeah.
And also,
did anything like even interesting happen on the date to write about?
no, not at all. It was just like my experience of like what online dating is like for a 20-year-old or whatever. He was ugly as fuck. He was shorter than me also.
Whoa.
And-
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We're going to discriminate against the short now.
No,
well, I mean, shorter
listen,
than Natalie is significant.
I know.
Yeah, that's true.
We stand a short king. However, I am 5'2", so
We
yeah,
at least
fuck that
stand
dude.
hot short guys, such as the host of the show.
Yeah, the host of this show.
Thank you.
I only
you.
like short guys with like very powerful sideburns.
Wow.
But
That's only been me for a few months.
yeah, and Justin the rest of the time too. But this was a very, very little dude. So the reason I was angry about it was just like, I'm too good for you by every metric. I am hotter. I am funnier. I am smarter. I don't understand why you were allowed to be like catfishing me. Like, fuck you.
Did he describe you in the article?
No, it was just like more about the experience and about what it was. It was like what it was like to online date and have it just not really work and you not click with someone. I had cooked him dinner too.
Jeez.
Oh no.
I know. Isn't that sad?
You would think that like he would like interview for the actual article, like instead of just writing it entirely one-sided.
Yeah. So
But I guess he's not a very good journalist.
No. He did not go on to work for a hard-hitting newspaper. I'm going to look him up and see what he's doing now, but you will never know because I never tell anyone the name of the person or the story. But yeah, he came over. I made him homemade pizza and a cream cheese pie. And yeah, fuck this guy. And he was from kind of far away, so he spent the night in my bed, but didn't try anything. Just slept there because he never like was intended to actually go on a date with me, but he didn't want to drive back. So he just slept without moving and I'm just like next to him like, oh my God, like just like ugh.
I really want to read this.
Well, and the other thing is he like recorded a radio show that you could see video but not height or voice of, so I had like logged in to see video of him doing this, but I couldn't hear his voice and he wasn't standing, so he just looked like a normal guy, whatever. And then he comes over, he opens his mouth, and he has a voice that's higher than mine, and he's shorter than me.
All right, both of those qualities are significant. Like, I'm not.
If there's two things about me, it's that I have a high voice and I'm very small.
Yeah, I don't want to denigrate anybody, but it is remarkable to be shorter and higher pitched than ever.
I hope he hears this.
Hey, fuck you.
Oh
All
shit.
right, we got a first name.
Anyway, sorry, I got off track.
No, that was
That's
fun.
all right. We don't have much of a track, I don't think, for this one.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of craving interaction with people at this point.
Blowing off some steam.
I've been playing Animal Crossing a lot.
Me too. I can't figure out how to get to your island, though, because I can't figure out how to get to anyone's island.
Yeah, there's some online stuff. You have to talk to the airport guy. Have you been there?
I did. Okay, this isn't interesting.
Beginner's Guide to Animal Crossing by Rock Hard Caucus. All right, so I have a few articles lined up by our usual gang of misfits. I don't necessarily want to read all of them, but I just want to kind of give you an idea of where these guys are at currently with the public health crisis and everything. So first up, I have an article from the Gazette by our friend Adam Sullivan.
Oh, man, I told that motherfucker there's no way I was going to read it, and now I'm, like, eating my words. Okay.
Well,
he retweets me all the time when I call him a moron. He's definitely a friend of the pod.
He's a friend of the pod. He like, his whole thing is that he can't get owned. So, like, you can say the meanest thing in the whole world to him, and he'll like it, and it's awesome.
He is probably, like, the smarmiest person on Twitter, and that's, like, an accomplishment, because there are a lot of fucking smarmy nerds on Twitter. But his tone, the way he uses little
like,
exclamation points, just, like,
Yeah.
every time I see an exclamation point in his tweet, it's just, like, the worst shit. Just him being passive-aggressive.
Yeah, he sucks, and I try to like say meaner and meaner stuff, hoping that that'll finally break him. I'm like, I have to say something where he will physically be unable to like it and act like he's in on the joke.
Yeah. He started following me because I liked one of your tweets making fun of him.
I hope he does not listen to this because
I don't give a fuck. He'll enjoy it. He'll enjoy it too much.
Fuck you,
You're
Adam
right.
Sullivan.
That's why I don't want him to hear
probably.
it. Yeah, I don't want him to have the satisfaction.
Oh yeah,
he enjoys being talked
that's
about.
true. He does, especially when he was like, I was like, what is the libertarian answer to this? And he replied, check out my column on Sunday. And I was like, bitch, I will never read that. And here I am.
Okay, so you made a pledge to never read it. I never said anything like that. So I did read it. It's called...
I read it too, of course.
Oh, you...
I'm weak.
The Gazette published this on Monday the 16th, so a week ago, when things had not quite gotten so bad, but it was looking pretty bad at that point still. And the headline is, what if there were libertarians in an epidemic?
What if, man? What if?
It's pretty boring. I really don't want to read it.
Yeah, I did see him post... or I saw him post about how the fact that you can like take out alcohol like from restaurants is a libertarian moment. Like this could be the libertarian moment we're waiting for. I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit tongue in cheek, but
Just libertarian things.
Yeah, we should note that Iowa doesn't have a shelter-in-place order yet.
Yep, that's true.
For reasons that are unknown, but... Well, I mean, I know the reasons, but they're bad ones.
I haven't been following super closely, like, the state government's response to everything. Last I heard is that restaurants and bars and stuff have to be closed, but you can still take stuff out, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they closed all the like salons and
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I didn't see her briefing today, but I think that was the last thing.
I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos and bought some shears, so I will be giving Cooper a haircut soon, and hope everyone's excited to see that.
Yeah, you guys should live stream.
I'm going full fucking caveman. Just like let it grow. Why not?
Yeah. I think I've shaved once this week. I might just not again. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I did get a haircut like right before shit started to hit. And I stupidly told the hairdresser I wasn't afraid of no coronavirus.
Good timing. Yeah. All right, so Adam's article, it's pretty boring. I don't want to get into it. But the line, what's the line below the headline? I'm forgetting the word for that.
What's the line below a headline?
I feel
Siri?
so dumb.
the subhead.
Yeah, the subhead is... So again, he said, what if there were libertarians in an epidemic? The subhead is, they might tell us to suspend certain regulations in the government healthcare complex.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Wow. So like what they're already doing?
Yeah.
Like
it's
Trump already declared a state of emergency, which involves loosening of certain regulations.
I mean, his whole point is just like the libertarian answer is getting rid of more regulations. And it's like, that doesn't help pay for anything.
Yeah. He saw somebody post, there are no libertarians in an epidemic. And his response was, I prove you wrong by still being dumb. Nothing changes my broken worldview.
Yeah, libertarians are going to be really mad when that War Defense Act gets used and they start forcing companies to manufacture things for the public good.
I'm looking forward to it.
Like, the only argument against that is like, oh, they're already doing it. It's like, okay, sure. That would have worked in World War II also.
All right, so I want to go to something that I find a lot more interesting. I looked up Dennis Clayson's recent articles, and let me just give you the headline of this first one, which was published by The Courier on March 8th. It says, "The virus. U.S. media cries wolf yet again."
Oh, goodness.
Yes, crying wolf. This was right before things really blew up.
It did not age well.
Yeah.
I don't. You don't have a Joel Curtinitis lined up, do you?
I don't. I looked him up. It looks like he hasn't put anything out for like a month or more.
I don't think he has. Like, I've kind of forgot about him, but I did go check on his Twitter a couple days ago, and he retweeted Mike Cernovich saying, like, experts said there would have been already 100,000 people dead by now. So maybe rational people should, like, reconsider what they're telling you. And it's like, did anyone say there would be 100,000 dead by now? Like, I'm pretty sure nobody said that. Like, it's not even supposed to get bad until, like, April.
Right. We're still in the early stages. Like, we're just
it already is bad. Don't take
it is,
that.
yeah.
Like, especially in New York City. But, like, it's way too early to fucking say.
Yeah, and we're definitely still on the incline. And from what I've seen, the number of cases is increasing at a steeper rate than it was in Italy at this point.
Yeah.
Which is
it's
alarming.
Not good.
And Italy is, like, basically doing death panels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously, completely.
Oh, they're
factually,
choosing people
with their old people. They're doing death panels.
Yeah, they're choosing if younger people are needing the incubator, they're gonna. Or I'm sorry, the ICU ventilator. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very fucking scary, and then like people aren't even able to see their family, like they're dying alone. Like it's not good. I'm doing everything I possibly can to not go outside, but I was gonna say we're kind of lucky to be living in Iowa because I think the coasts are going to have a lot worse experience. Like a lot more densely populated areas are going to do a lot worse. And also I feel like maybe people might take it slightly more seriously around here than, I don't know. I don't have anything to base that on, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
Then they are in Florida at least.
Yeah. So. Like we don't have beaches. We
don't
have,
That's true, but I wouldn't blame the native Floridians for that. I think it's mostly people traveling there for spring break that were the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know New Orleans, Louisiana is getting hit pretty bad, and part of it's because of Mardi Gras.
Right. Ugh. So Clayson, he put out the thing about the media crying wolf on March 8th, and then he put out something new just yesterday. And this one is called Americans Tolerating Strict Rules, which is incredibly vague. So this one I actually do want to read to you because it's, like I said, a lot more interesting. Yeah, bad, but also very interesting. Here are the words of Dennis. A health expert last week stated that everyone is afraid to err, but no action would be worse than making a mistake in a pandemic. Fear, however, of making decisions seems to be more prevalent in the U.S. than it once was. We can see this in many ways.
What is any of this? Is he the one? He's like the vague platitudes guy, kind of, because he did the Confederate one that we were like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's the one who says he writes a lot of things that don't have any apparent meaning in general.
He's the guy who was mad about women not fixing the copier in the office, right?
Yeah,
yes, that was Clayson.
I loved that.
That was my favorite.
So far, this is like sophomore in high school essay level writing. We can see this in many ways.
Okay. Tell what you're going to tell us, and then tell us, and then tell us what you told us.
Solid intro. Good job.
Nice job.
Some have suggested that our response to the coronavirus outbreak has been overly dramatic and will cause more damage in totality than would a more restrained response. There are so many unknowns with this virus, and data sources are not always trustworthy. For example, data out of China are interesting. Shanghai has a population of more than 24 million and has reported only 3 deaths from the virus. The center of the outbreak was Hubei province, where the virus killed more than 3,000 people out of a population of more than 58 million, which accounted for over 96% of all deaths in China. I'll stop here and say that I haven't cross-referenced the numbers he's reporting here. Do you guys know if this is accurate at all?
It is, but
don't know.
I don't know where he's going to go with this, because the reason that like it didn't spread in China as far, like they fucked it up from the beginning.
They locked everything down immediately.
Yeah, like they
Right.
took way more draconian measures than we ever would, and it worked. So like, also there's like a million articles from like January, February where people are like 35 million people are in quarantine in China. Like this isn't good. Like about like, you know, civil liberties and shit. It's like, yeah, it's not great, but like, I don't know, like there's a fucking trade-off. It's not, it's not just simply a personal liberty like issue.
Yeah. So is that what he's referring to when he says some have suggested that our response is overly dramatic and will cause more damage than a restrained response would have? Is he talking about?
I don't know. I don't know where he's going. Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Well, let's see how he develops this thesis.
I mean, I assume it's like the same as like the Trump thing. Like, oh, we're gonna restart we're gonna stop the quarantines in a week because the stock market's going down.
God. Yeah, I guess he's probably talking about the economic impact that this is going to have.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Right.
But it's going to happen either way at this point. Okay, anyway, here's what he has to say. If the Chinese are to be believed, they either contained their outbreak of the virus or they are suggesting that it can be maintained without draconian methods.
What?
What?
I don't I don't know. If you recall, we read a Clayson article for our Christmas episode, and there was weird stuff about China in that too. So Dennis has some sort of
I remember that.
strange association
about the
with the
Chinese
Where he used
guy.
one
Yeah.
guy that he talked to who just happened to agree with him on everything. But he was from China, so it meant something.
Right. Dutch social psychologist Geert Hofstede attempted to identify differences in cultures. One important difference was uncertainty avoidance, or a society's tolerance for ambiguity. Cultures that score high on this measure typically have strict codes of behavior and lots of laws and guidelines. The U.S. was traditionally rather low on this measure, but that has changed dramatically.
Okay.
Okay.
First, our culture has become overly bureaucratic. Organizations now spend more time creating procedural rules and guidelines than actually doing something.
Citation needed?
Yeah.
Pretty sure we've gone on a like deregulating spree for the last like 40 years.
Yes.
This is just great word choice as well. Organizations now spend more time creating procedural rules and guidelines than actually doing something. Got it. Very specific, a well-crafted sentence here. Everything is specified in advance, and no decision can be made without first consulting with HR 456-43A. Procedure seems to have become more important than outcome. Second, for all practical purposes, we allow anyone to be sued by anyone for almost any reason.
Okay, that's fine though, because they can lose. Like, just because you can do it doesn't mean that anything's gonna come of it. Like,
Also, aren't usually like, I guess he isn't specifically a libertarian, but these are the people who always talk about like tort reform.
tort reform, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, we want to sue doctors.
He's definitely a conservative. I don't know how else
Yeah.
he identifies, but he has self-identified as conservative more than once in the pieces that I've read. So we allow anyone to be sued by anyone for almost any reason. A popular hill for sledding in the winter must be fenced and put off limits because someone might be hurt and the owner will surely be sued.
Oh my god, he has such
Jesus
specific grievances.
Christ.
Like, just very specific things related to the copier and the hill behind his house.
Yeah.
As we all know, children no longer sled. Water buckets come with warning labels that a person should not put their head into the bucket when it is filled with water.
Oh my fucking god. This guy is amazing. This is like the dumbest shit. It's incredible.
Is this actually true? I don't know if I've ever read a warning label on a bucket.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But plenty of stuff is, but like, who cares? Why do you care? Like,
Third, rigid adherence to ideologically correct norms. That's an incomplete sentence. Foul. Throwing the flag.
Like, where is he getting this from? Like, people have never had more, like, divergent opinions. I mean, there is obviously, the conservative thing, and then liberals, and then the left or whatever. But, like, there's people within those sort of subgroups are very, like, idiosyncratic and have all sort of conflicting, contrasting views about things.
We're post-norm America, baby.
Yeah, like...
The president sits on the shitter all day and fires up tweets.
I mean, especially if you talk to somebody who does not talk and think about politics frequently. If you just, like, approach a stranger, like, if you're canvassing and you talk to somebody about their political beliefs, it is incomprehensible how people come to these different conclusions.
Mm-hmm.
Just ideology free, like.
Yeah, a lot of the rigidly ideological conservatives sound pretty fucking left sometimes,
Yes.
So he's talking about rigid adherence to ideologically correct norms. This is one of Hofstede's prime tests for uncertainty avoidance. A person must not say the wrong thing and must avoid any behavior that correct groups disapprove of. In such a risk-averse society, if someone must decide to allow an action that could possibly transmit an unknown disease, they are going to ban the action and hope that the consequences aren't worse than the disease.
Fucking telling me America is a risk-averse society.
Our entire financial system is based on gambling.
Yeah. It's so insane.
Like, when you write down what the fuck the stock market is on a piece of paper, you're like, it's gambling. The entire country is based on gambling.
Yeah, and this is what we invest our ability to retire in. It's how we buy housing. Like, we're all tied up in this thing that's just gambling.
And I mean, Ned Flanders would tell you that health insurance and housing insurance are also forms of gambling. So
yeah,
it's true. Yeah.
At the same time, the culture will have little tolerance for ambiguity. People will welcome rule-bound dictates. What the fuck? People will welcome rule-bound dictates and being told exactly what they can and cannot do.
Hell yeah, love to write.
Yeah,
So he's drawing a line between, like, political correctness and, like, people, like, bowing to authoritarianism. Like...
and then people following CDC guidelines. Those are all the same.
Yep.
Wow.
Such a society will drift toward strong leadership. In the U.S., every time we have had a national-level emergency, the average citizen has emerged with less individual freedoms and a wider tolerance for more dictatorial government. Hopefully, we will emerge from this crisis differently.
Is that it?
That's the end, yeah.
That's just bad.
It's hard to really...
I mean, is he applying that to 9/11? Because I doubt he is.
Yeah.
But that's the time it was actually fucking true.
He might be, to be fair. But, I mean, he doesn't include any, like, concrete examples of really anything he's referring to here other than the sledding and the bucket. The least important part.
Solid examples.
I'm just imagining him having bought a bucket at Home Depot and just getting infuriated by the sticker.
Also, I mean, the Great Depression led to the New Deal, not the Green New Deal. That would be good too, but like,
I wish we'd been that far.
It was a massive expansion of people's, like, rights. I guess they don't think of them that way, though. It's actually...
Those are positive rights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the Economic Bill of Rights. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count as progress. No. Even if it allows for more freedom. Like, the whole idea of freedom is so perverse.
I'm reading this sentence again to try to make sense of it. People will welcome rule-bound dictates and being told exactly what they can and cannot do. Do you feel like people are welcoming that at this point, where we're at right now? Being told what they can and cannot do?
No, I don't think... I mean, that's kind of my concern, is that, like, Western...
Americans,
well, and just same with, like, Italy. I mean, China took way more aggressive steps than Italy. Italy acted more like... Well, I mean, just us Westerners have such an idea of, like, I can do whatever I want, whenever I want it. Like, Doesn't matter. I don't have to think about the consequences.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's cultural, I think. I think he has the exact opposite read on the culture that I have, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm coming at it from exactly the opposite direction as well. That the fetishization of like individualism, at least in the US, is part of what's going to make this pandemic worse.
yeah, like I'm following the
Yes.
rules because like it's the right thing to do and I understand the consequences if I don't. Like I'm being an informed citizen. I don't like love to just bow to authority or whatever. It's like I don't want people to die.
Yeah. And certain people would rank those opposite. They would
Absolutely.
I don't care if people die. I'm going to do whatever I want.
How dare you tell me I can't go to the Bob Evans?
That one spring breaker. Yeah.
All right, so I have now 2 letters to the editor to Little Village. Now, in the past, we have vetoed talking about letters to the editor on the show because usually they're not deserving targets, you know? But this time I feel like the subject matter is important enough, and the back and forth between these 2 letters, I think, is it makes me laugh to read these back to back. So I think it's I think it's worth putting them on the show.
That. Someone's written a response to my letter to the editor before. I wrote a lot of those for a while. People have written, like, someone wrote in angrily against me.
Oh, we should look into those. That would be fun.
Oh, so these are actually a response? Like one's a response to the other one? Or is it just a weird contrast?
One is a direct response to the
okay.
other. And
Cool.
the first one is good. The headline is an open letter to Iowa City landlords. Waive April rent and postpone evictions.
Hell yeah. Okay.
And this was written by Riley Wilson. This is somebody I met a few months ago at the Bernie field office in Iowa City. This is a cool person. I saw them at the anti-war rally, too, when we were afraid that we were going to war with Iran.
Oh, how times change.
I know. Our concerns have shifted a bit since then.
Yeah, I mean, we still basically are doing war in Iran right now.
God, that's true, too. Yeah.
Economic sanctions, killing
Yeah.
people. We might as well be at war.
Yeah.
It's fucked up.
All right, so Riley writes, in the face of the COVID-19 outbreak, many Iowa City workplaces have made the decision to decrease their operating hours or temporarily close to compensate for a lack of business, leaving a considerable number of Iowa City's hourly workers without secure income and in precarious financial situations. It is inevitable that in this vulnerable financial situation, many of your tenants will find themselves unable to pay April's rent. It is also likely that many of your older tenants were forced to avoid work and take extra precautions to keep themselves safe, and thus are at extreme risk. Unemployment assistance measures, Social Security, and other government transfer payments aren't intended to cover the cost of rent and are going to be insufficient to cover the cost of rent, as well as provide groceries and necessary medicine. If you choose not to waive April's rent and instead attempt to evict every tenant who does not meet their rent payment, you risk taking secure housing away from a considerable number of Iowa City residents during an already dangerous public health situation. The mental and financial strain already endured by your tenants would not be able to endure homelessness and court costs associated with eviction. Do the right thing. Announce a moratorium on evictions during the outbreak, waive April's rent for all your tenants, and promise your tenants that you will not prevent us from receiving our security deposits at the end of our lease to compensate for April's waived rent.
Very reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah, definitely. You could ask for more than that, and this seems to be,
Yeah.
maybe not the bare minimum, but still, there's room to demand even more than this, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, like, the thing is like, these landlords are not going to be getting rent checks from people, like, anyway. I mean, some of them, maybe, but, like, they're already going to be, like, taking a hit on that. And it's like...
Yeah, it's unavoidable.
Just do the fucking right thing.
Yeah. If you evict someone, you still have to clean and then market the apartment. You're going to be out a couple months anyway.
You're going to...
So you might as well just wait.
You're going to evict someone and then, like, 3 or 4 months later when this, or whoever knows when this shit blows over, you're going to have a bunch of people who don't have any money to buy your fucking apartment. Like,
Yeah, who's gonna move in after this?
right. They're going to be shacking up with family members. Like,
Yeah. You're clearly not getting any of this rent income for a few months anyway. Okay, and then there was a response to this letter. And this is by Bronson Harmon.
Charles Bronson Harmon.
Bronson
Harmon. And, okay, here's the headline. Landlords can't afford to waive rent.
Why?
Well, let's see why. I just read this open letter, and then there's a link to Riley's letter. And I don't think people understand the consequences of what is actually happening. If I were to waive April's rent for my tenants, I wouldn't be able to pay the mortgage on the property, and the bank would seize it, leaving us all homeless with a huge debt that couldn't be paid.
Why don't you get a job then?
I am a landlord and struggle... I am a landlord and struggle every month to pay my bills while tenants destroy my property with no accountability because the universe revolves around them. Landlords get crapped on by everyone, and it's very disturbing when I see articles like this. I work hard to make it just like everyone else.
Doing what? Exactly?
Maybe write an open letter to the banks asking them to waive April's mortgage payment for landlords. But then they would suffer.
Hell yeah, we're just getting started.
But then they would suffer. You see, it keeps going. The open letter is destructive and is no way a solution, but a recipe for disaster. Be objective and see all sides of the equation.
I think, like, if your only source of income is a rental, like, you should be, get a job. Like...
Sorry, not my problem.
That's
download Uber. You all told us to download Uber. You do it.
like, don't either like just be happy with your fucking like your rental income, or like don't tell us that you're like working super fucking hard. Like you're not. We know you're not. Like it's insane.
I just love that this is such a short letter, and even with like the limited number of words that he allotted himself, he still had to fit in how much he hates his tenants. Like, you clearly hate renting these properties to people, so why else would you be doing it?
This. You do not like this. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, you're trying to say here that the people you have living in your property destroy it and have no regard for like you or what you're doing.
Aren't they technically destroying the bank's property?
Yeah, true story.
And you're saying that you struggle every month to pay the bills. So you don't enjoy doing this and you're not making any money at it. Okay, so what are you doing? Am I supposed to
how do you
respect
not
you for
make
this?
money renting? Like it's fucking free money, dude.
How do you you're making it seem like you had no choice in the matter and you just stumbled into owning a bunch of property that you rent to people. You have to intend to do this, right? People don't just accidentally become landlords. What an asshole.
Yeah, that's fuck that guy.
Bronson Harmon, we denounce you.
Get a job, Bronson Harmon. Have you tried getting less coffee? Bronson, don't get your nails done as much. Stop that daily latte, Bronson. Things will turn around.
I read you saying here that you're having trouble paying your mortgage, but I see you stopping at Starbucks every day too, so...
I see, Bronson, that you're doing some of the things that make life worth living, and if you just cut those out...
I see you went out to Red Lobster last week.
I see you went to the Bob Evans, Bronson.
Where even is Bob Evans? Those are Canadian, right?
I don't know. I'm just saying it because that one governor did.
Yeah. But that was the West Virginia guy?
Virginia.
Yeah. I'm thinking of Tim Hortons when I say Canadian. Tim Horton, Bob Evans.
Bob Evans has to be like a Cracker Barrel or a Country Kitchen or something.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even know what it is.
I think it's like Cracker Barrel. I don't know what. I assume the margins on renting is pretty fucking high because
why else would you do it?
How much is your mortgage bill, honestly? You're charging $800 a month per person.
Your mortgage is $800.
Right, your mortgage can't be
Your
that
your
much
mortgage,
more than that.
you
No.
could probably get by with having like 3/4 of the building empty and
Yes.
still make mortgage payments and
Yeah.
live the rest of your life with your normal income from your normal job.
Get a
Get a
fucking
fucking job. Fucking slacker, freeloader.
job. Parasite.
Okay, I have one more article which I saved for the end because it's even crazier than Dennis Clayson's article. So this was published by the Press Citizen. This is from March 10th, so again, it's before things got super bad, but it was clear that this was going to be an issue, obviously. This is by Jay Honahan. We've never read this guy on the show, but I have read a few of his past columns. And I never have brought him to the show because it comes across as like just a weird old man rambling. And it feels kind of mean to read his articles on the show. But I feel like this one, I don't know, the situation warrants it, I think. All right, the headline is, "We got problems, and coronavirus is just one of them."
True. Facts.
That's true.
All right, I have to give a little context here and say that what I'm about to read, all of his articles seem to start similarly to this. The boys were at the usual booth. I sat down. Sam started things. "Jay, what's the good word?" "Guys, I am thinking there is no good word in this country." "What do you mean, Jay?" asked Red. "Been hearing the news on TV, Red, about this coronavirus.
What the fuck?
Yeah, like it's a conversational thing. Like a group of guys, they're all talking at the diner. That's like the conceit
Okay.
for his series of columns.
And he made up all these dudes.
I don't know if these are like real people he actually talks to, and that's where the articles come from, or if it's just like something to
Dude,
frame his
Red,
work. I don't
Jay,
know.
these are normal dudes just having
Don't forget Sam.
talking about real shit.
Don't forget Squee.
Okay. Been hearing the news on TV, Red, about this coronavirus. It is really a problem in this country and worldwide. People are dying by the hundreds every day, and it looks like it is going to last for a long haul. Ike piped in. I heard that one of the real problems is the head of China and some of his bureaucrats kept the thing under wraps and arrested doctors for spreading so-called rumors about the disease, and it got a real head start because of that. I am going to go out on a limb and say that's fabricated.
Well,
I don't know.
There's some truth behind it. I mean, they did try to censor a doctor who later died of COVID. Like, they did bungle the response initially, but like that's not why it's spreading here.
Right, Ike. And now the world's stuck with a real serious problem. But we have to keep calm and be smart. We can't run around like chickens with our heads cut off. That will only make things worse. But Jay, aren't you afraid of this damned virus? Me afraid of a deadly virus that kills people. Perish the thought.
Is that's the actual quote?
Yes, that's what it says.
Okay.
What do you suggest, smart guy? Asked Sam. First, we use our brains. We don't panic. We do the simple things. Wash hands, cover our mouths when we sneeze. Don't put your hands on your face after coughing. Stay away from big crowds if you can. Drink lots of liquids. If you are sick, stay home and take it easy. Wear masks when you have a cough, and above all, don't start hoarding. Hoarding is what's worrying me right now. A Des Moines hospital has even experienced people stealing face masks. But Jay, said Sam, you're saying what us grunts can do, but will that stop the virus? No, Sam, but we have to give the government time to produce tests to determine if you have the virus and antidotes to cure it. It will take time. Time was lost when the Chinese hid the problem.
Oh my god. So it's the Chinese's fault. It's the Chinese government's fault.
It doesn't seem like he's laying the blame entirely with them, but
I mean, we had months to prepare for this, and we're all fucking stupid for not seeing it. Like, props to our friend Alan for actually being smart about this and, like, taking it seriously when it wasn't a big story.
Yeah, man, like how they were briefed in like January, all the senators that sold all their stocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've known about this for a long time. I didn't take it seriously. I didn't know Alan it did. Nice job, Alan.
Yeah, like, we should have known, like, way before. Like, it should have been a public health thing, like, in February.
To be fair, Alan's response was stockpiling ammunition.
Okay.
I'm joking, but half joking.
Allie thought he was crazy for going and trying to buy supplies.
Yeah.
Like 3 weeks ago.
I bought a bunch of Jim Bakers.
You bought the buckets? Fuck yeah.
I assume you're joking, but are you?
Yeah, of course
Okay.
I am.
I just wanted the opportunity to be there if you actually did buy that.
Dude.
Oh my God, would I ever buy one if they were cheap? But they're $5,000.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I didn't know they were that steep.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, it's like way overpriced for what it is.
Of course, yeah.
Of course it is, though.
Yeah.
You know I love that shit. I watch all the Christian movies, dude.
Dude, Jim.
I watch Pure Flicks.
You watched
Like-
what?
Pure Flicks.
Oh, Pureflix. Is that Christian Netflix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen the Vic Berger edits of Jim Backer?
Yeah, those are great.
It's really funny.
I love them.
All right, so time was lost when the Chinese hid the problem. And even the Republicans and the Democrats have recognized this. When is the last time there was a 98-1 vote in the U.S. Senate? Interjecting here, I believe the Russia sanctions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not uncommon for it to, like...
That's true. There's also like procedural bullshit that gets that kind of vote all the time.
Yep.
Vice President Pence has been charged with the task of working on this. He is trying to do a good job relying on the experts.
Okay.
It is too bad that the Twitter king, El Jefe, has to keep shouting off his oversized mouth when he doesn't know what he is talking about. So I guess Jay is kind of like a Drumpf guy a little bit.
Did you see, oh my gosh, Ivanka Trump's, it's the father-in-law of Jared Kushner's brother, is an ER doctor, who like posted in a Facebook group, does anyone have any ideas for how we could deal with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They asked him for guidance, and then there was like a Facebook group that was full of like boomer ER guys that was like badass motherfucking ER doctors or something.
Yeah. It was called Badass ER Doctor.
They all have algorithmically generated T-shirts. Do people call Trump El Jefe? Is that
I was
like a
wondering
common-
about that. Like,
What is
does
that?
that even?
How is it spelled? What does that mean?
L, so E-L, and then Jeffe. I know I've heard that before, El Jefe. I don't know the source, but...
Oh, it's the boss.
It's a Mexican restaurant.
It means the boss, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a Spanish speaker, so.
Okay. And the Black Widow and the Senate's new demagogue, Schumer, have got to quit playing politics.
Wait, is the Black Widow Nancy Pelosi?
I'm assuming it is, yes. However, knowing them, I doubt it. They hate Trump so bad they have lost it. Schumer has even threatened the Supreme Court.
If only.
Yeah, for real.
But Jay, he said it was elections he was talking about, Red stated. When he was ranting, Red, did he name Trump, Pence, any Republican senator or representative? No, he named Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. He was aiming at them and the court. I don't even know what they're talking about here. Did Schumer say something about the Supreme Court recently?
I don't know.
I have no idea what.
I
is
don't. I
happening.
basically stopped paying attention to any of it. I'm like, fuck you guys. When are you sending me a check? Oh, you're not? Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay. So I remember he apparently, I think it was about abortion. I don't think it was anything related to the fucking coronavirus thing.
Oh, yeah. You will pay the price for overturning Roe.
Yeah, it was like something completely unrelated, but also like one of the only good things that Chuck Schumer has done in the past like year or however long his entire career has been.
Oh, Schumer walks back SCOTUS.
Of course. Yeah, I was gonna say like but it's Schumer, so you know it's an empty threat. And then there you are. He took it back anyway. Trump has got to Pelosi and Schumer. They are now acting just like Trump and making fools of themselves too. That is the problem that the ultra-right and the ultra-left have visited on this country.
Imagine thinking Nancy Pelosi is ultra-left.
The ultra-left. We so wish.
I don't know if he's saying that they are the ultra-left or that the ultra-partisans have, like, affected them and influenced them to be further divisive. I don't fucking know. I'm trying to, like, analyze and interpret
something that doesn't.
Very weird article.
Nancy Pelosi doesn't give a fuck what the left thinks.
No, she said that publicly, like, repeatedly.
Both sides hate each other, and sadly, name-calling by both sides is the order of the day. God help us if the country can survive. Like the governor of New York sitting on his behind, shouting like a cuckoo clock that the CDC isn't doing enough, when he has done little except complain. It was time for the check. The guys ran out like I had the coronavirus, and Charlie handed me the tab.
Was that the end?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so his friends dined and dashed. His friends are cool.
Right.
He should just leave too. Just leave too.
I'm imagining he's going on about Chuck Schumer and cuckoo clocks and the CDC, and his friends all just like walk out one by one while he's ranting.
What was the point of that?
Yeah, again, like it's just, imagine a group of old men who hang out at the diner and talk about politics, but none of them actually have a point or any sort of overlying ideology, and then they all just leave. That seems to be Jay's thing. Jay Hanahan. This is what gets published in the Press Citizen these days.
Man, bring back fucking Joe.
Bring back Dobry.
He's at least entertaining. Oh, by the way, I saw that Iowa City is no longer enforcing parking ticket or like parking
That's
ramp.
right.
Congratulations, Joseph.
That's right. I tweeted about it on the show account a couple hours ago.
Oh, that's where we found out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I immediately thought of him.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I feel like just listening to me read that article, you don't get the full effect. So if you want to, just take a look at Jay Hanahan's articles on the Press Citizen. You can see like the occasional misspellings, missing punctuation. It's really weird. Like, I don't know why this guy has a regular column in a newspaper.
Colon. the local newspaper story.
The Rock Hard Caucus experience.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier about Natalie, your date. Like, how did he like not make it as a journalist? He must have been really bad.
This sounds like prime content. Fuck that guy. He would have been lucky.
Those are all the articles that I have lined up for us to read. I think next time we should find Natalie's old letters to the editor and all of the responses and read all of those.
That sounds fun.
I was like, for a teeny bit there, I was really trying. But then I stopped and I gave into the darkness.
Yeah, this is when you believed that things mattered.
Yeah.
Yes. They don't. No, they don't. I don't. And that's when when I lived in Cedar Rapids, the Gazette will publish whatever. So
yeah,
they're not nearly they're not as terrible as the Register.
Oh, so, the Gazette is miles better than the Register, just because they're not owned by Gannett.
Yep,
yeah,
that helps.
Yeah.
They occasionally post good op-eds.
Yeah, they have that lens woman
Yeah,
who
I
does
can't
good
remember
ones.
her last
Liz
name.
Lenz?
Yeah. I sent her fan mail and she didn't respond, and so now she's dead to me.
Damn.
All right, you guys have anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
Put some goddamn money into people's hands.
Yeah, obviously. Give us the checks, you bastards.
I don't. Yeah, like I could use that check. Like my income isn't affected, but like just fucking tax it back from me. Like that's the thing that's so irritating, is like this squabbling over the money and like wanting to means test it. Is it's just like adding more red tape and delaying it from the people who actually need it.
Yes.
Just fucking take it back in tax season. It's fine. I don't give a fuck. But
Just
like,
deal with it later.
It needs to
Fucking
happen
give people money
now.
so they can eat and be housed.
Yeah, this is the biggest emergency of our lifetimes, and people are fucking around twiddling their thumbs instead of just giving us money. Give money now.
Wait, I have a final thing. Do you think that the Joe Biden video today was a deep fake or not?
I didn't see it or read anything about it, really.
I don't think it was a deep fake because it was still totally bungled, you know? Like if they had...
It was still incoherent.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he was waving his hands for someone to bring him a piece of paper.
like
he forgot what he was doing.
His teleprompter went out or something, and he's like signaling to the crew, like, save me, save me.
Jesus.
Is he on his green screen in it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a green screen. You can tell like when he like moves a little bit in front of it, like it doesn't look right. And the proportions are off. Like he's too small compared to the bookshelves that are behind him.
Is he trying to make it look like he has a normal house? Or like what's the purpose of that?
It's more presidential.
What was wrong with just the podium and the curtains that he was...
I want him to put a beach scene in the background or something. Like, what is the most amazing green screen you could have?
Yeah, it's pathetic. What an awful campaign. He didn't make a public address for what, 6 days?
Yes, 6 days.
Yeah, the last anyone saw was that debate.
Last Tuesday.
Oh my god, that was a week ago. That's fucking insane.
Yeah. When the one where he just stared at the camera for like a minute when it was over. Yeah.
And then it had to be escorted.
It's so funny. Like Bernie can do
so
like
funny,
just dozens and
whatever.
dozens of live streams without a hitch. But then fucking Joe Biden can't pull off like a 7-minute live stream without like completely imploding.
I live stream people all the time that I don't mean to be live streaming. It's really easy to live stream.
Yeah, that's what we were saying during the Biden drought that we had over the past week. Their excuse for it was like, yeah, we're trying to figure out how to stream. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you
After
can do
they
it.
had already done it. Like he had literally
Yeah.
he'd literally broadcast from his house before.
Yeah, right before that. The Tuesday thing was a live stream from his house.
Yeah.
And like the tech wasn't the issue with that one. It's so easy to stream, to live stream. Like on Facebook, you just click twice and you are streaming. You can do it by accident.
Yes, I have done it by accident many times. It's not hard. Like,
God.
Joe, just pick up a phone and show us you're alive. Stream it.
Man, even though I despise the Democrats and I despise Joe Biden, I do want him to just like step away before the fucking convention and just like, I mean, they're not going to give it to Bernie, but like, fuck it, just give it to someone other than Joe Biden, for God's sake. I don't know if that's the,
who the, like...
it doesn't fucking matter, really, but like...
It doesn't fucking matter.
It's
and
just
I do-
embarrassing. It's like secondhand embarrassment. It's like, I don't care.
And like,
I don't care.
you
Like
would
whoever
never let that happen.
whoever they give it to would be just as bad as Joe Biden, but like it's secondhand embarrassment. Don't humiliate yourselves any further, you fucking Democrats. Like you've already done enough.
Everyone can see it.
Yeah, like, please, like, I would never do this to my parents. Or, like, it's just, like, what, like, the terrible people he has around him, like, doing elder abuse. Like, it makes me, it doesn't make me sad because he fucking sucks, but it would make me sad. I don't, he doesn't know where he is. It just sucks to do.
There's no reason for the Joe Biden campaign. Like, there's nothing behind it other than, I guess, just like the conservative thing of like, we want to go back to Obama and just pretend that Trump never happened and that everything is normal. All of our institutions are functioning perfectly. It's pure fantasy on the same level as what Trump supporters think. Like,
make America great again. It's the same goddamn thing.
That is really the only thing they can appeal to with a Biden campaign.
Yeah, so
That's
it's like
the definition of conservatism.
Exactly.
The definition of conservatism.
He's not offering anything. It's just, I'm the good guy. Let's go be the good guys again.
Yeah. So we get to choose between someone who wants to go back like 5 decades, 6 decades, however many decades, versus like someone who wants to go back just one. So that's the choice we have presented to us.
What a great choice we have.
Yeah, I mean, vote for him if you must, if you feel like you have to. I'm not going to like hate on anyone's personal preference for what they're doing, but like, don't pretend that you're not contributing to a right-wing political project. Like, don't act like you're doing anyone a fucking favor. That's the most irritating shit.
Yeah. You're not going to feel like you have to from listening to us, because I am not going to vote for Joe Biden.
I'm not voting for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I am not going to vote for Joe Biden.
It's a personal, like, this is a complicated moral question as to what you do. But, like, and so I'm not going to, like, hate someone who decides to vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I mean, from my...
Nobody's voting for Joe Biden.
From my perspective, the future doesn't look any more or less bleak, like the long-term future, whether Trump or Biden.
Right.
Like, yeah, maybe you could make a case for the next 4 years, but, like, long-term, it doesn't fucking matter.
It's like sets back the project of the left even more.
Right.
Because it'll be 4 years and then it'll be President Tom Cotton.
Nothing is going to change until we have like an active left movement to actually... It bothers me so much. Like, the Democrats have never had a better opportunity to be pressured from the left and to give concessions to the left, and like the exact opposite has happened. So it's like they need to be fucking broken before anything changes.
So like, fuck you. We have to destroy the party. We have to crush it and then take over where its spot was. Like, we have to fill the vacuum in its place. Liberalism will always pave the way for fascism.
Yeah, read a book. You can you can see it happening repeatedly. I just want to say, I want to be totally open and honest with you guys. For the past several years, I have been confusing and conflating Tom Cotton and Trey Gowdy. I just realized.
Tom Cotton's the effective. He's like if Trump was smart and even more fascist.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that America is not ready to elect a president with such a weird head shape. And then I realized, wait, that's Trey Gowdy. It's not Tom Cotton.
We're not ready for our first weird-headed president.
Tom Cotton's
just like we
fairly normal looking.
Yes.
God, and that
we weren't ready for our first dork president, so that's why we couldn't elect Elizabeth Warren. and we're also not ready for our first weird-headed president.
This shit is just so frustrating with the Democrats still fucking sitting on their feet, sitting on their hands, whatever.
Sitting on both. They're cross-legged and they're...
Yeah. They're sitting Indian style. But yeah, like, if there was ever a time to make a fucking bold, big swing, then like it's now. And like they're wasting an opportunity, as they've wasted every fucking opportunity that they've been ever given. And they're getting a lot of opportunities.
The year 2009, like
literally every year.
It's what they're best at. Yeah, that's true.
They're
we have to destroy it. I remember last year on this podcast giving like this like impassioned case for us how we're going to take over the Democratic Party, and it can't be. We just have to crush it. We have to destroy it in every way that we know how. And that's why you shouldn't vote for Joe Biden, because that is a way of voting against the Democratic Party. And then we'll take its place.
Hopefully. Shit. I mean, I know a lot of people who would be happy to vote for an actual leftist candidate.
Yeah. Lots of quote unquote conservatives.
They're so afraid of like being perceived as unreasonable that they will do the absolute least reasonable thing, which is like squabble over the fucking payments. And like,
yes.
it's so fucking self-defeating, and it's the exact same fucking thing that they've been doing for their entire last 40 years or however long.
Right. They fetishize austerity as a sign that you're a serious leader who's willing to tell the hard truth.
Completely internalized that narrative.
Yes, because even now they're doing it. Like, this is more than any other moment. Like, this is the time to abandon that. And it's obvious to everybody that that's not the solution to what we're facing right now. And
well,
still,
they need those
they're doing
donors. That's what the donors want.
But the donors aren't going to matter when the economy is completely fucking gone. Like, we're cratering right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, unprecedented. I mean, I don't know, man. I hope that something breaks in the next week or two. I know they didn't pass the vote today, and they are trying to get, like, but they're not even squabbling over, like, the payments at this point. I think the reason that they voted it down was, like, just the fact that it was like a huge slush fund. There's like a huge portion of the bill that was like designated to businesses, but like no terms were given for like how businesses would be able to get the money, but basically they're not even talking about like the payment part of it. Like, that's not the main issue.
Okay, just pass that then.
Right, yeah.
I don't understand. I don't know. Like, just fucking just send the checks. Not that hard.
Give money now.
Right.
It's easy.
You take money and you give it to us.
Okay, I think that's probably a good place for us to wrap up.
Just like you listeners should give us money on our Patreon.
I think I said this last time.
Please
but,
don't.
If you would like to listen to our premium content and you understandably do not have money to give, or for any reason you just want to listen to the stuff, you don't want to pay us, or you can't pay us, just hit us up. We can send you the files for free. This is not really the time for us to be demanding money from you. It's time to demand money from the government.
Fine. You're right.
Yeah.
But if you just happen to be sitting on a pile of cash, we wouldn't say no. So feel free. Thanks for listening again. We don't really know what the next week is going to look like. We don't know what the next month is going to look like. We don't know how long this is going to last. Things are weird right now. Feel free to reach out to us if you want to talk. Me especially, I'm not working right now, as you know. So I've got plenty of time if you just want to chat.
Yeah.
Hit me up whenever.
We'll let you into our Discord channel.
We could do that. We could set up like a guest Discord room in here. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, maybe.
Hit us up if you're interested in that.
Yeah.
Okay. See you next time. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.